Good day, one and all. My name is Kathy, and welcome to this episode of the Scrap and Crafty Gardener. Today, I am going to be making a card based on this past Friday's Craft Roulette Challenge number 220. And if you haven't heard of Craft Roulette, I'll have the link to that episode below. It's a fun program that appears on YouTube every Friday night, where they spin a wheel and then they tell you what project you need to make, what colors you need to use, etc. For this challenge, we need to make a project of a dude's card. So I'm going to make a card for a man. The colors we have to use are dragons. And when I think of dragons, I think of like greens and browns, but I went more with the browns, and a fire-breathing dragon. So I'm going to throw in some orange and some black, because once he spits out his fire, everything's charred and black. The element we have to use, baskets. So I'm going to do a little bit of basket weaving on this card, and the random element has to be a chart. So let me get started, and I'll show you how I'm fitting all these elements in. I am making a cream colored or ivory colored card today. This card measures 10 inches by 7 inches. You score it at your 5-inch mark, fold it over, and crease it really good with a bone folder or even the handle of your scissors. I have a black background. This measures 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. I'm going for a horizontal card today. And then this is where my chart element fits in. This is a patterned paper. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see it on camera really well, but there in the background, there is a table chart in here. Little numbers appear along with these glossy arrows. This was in a pack of paper that I've had for quite some time. This was a DCWV Premium Stacks World Traveler, and it has all sorts of masculine style papers. And that one just happened to have a chart on it. I actually think it's like a timetable, but it's a chart. And then I will be using this, which is a vintage Hues acetate that I got from Stamponit.net at a recent scrapbooking convention. This is Safari Animals 1, and I'm going to be using that wonderful giraffes in the sunset. I want to make a sympathy card for a guy, and I thought that would fit nicely. And I'll also be using this glitter film, also from Stamponit.net, which goes behind that image, and I'll show you how that works. And it just makes it beautiful, glittery and beautiful. And then I will also be using, and I have already cut it out, this was a piece of a light brown cardstock. This measured 4 3/8 by 3 1/8, and I used from Spellbinders Matting Basics B. I used these two cuts and made a frame, and then I also will be using the center part. So I'll just put that back in its envelope. Wrong way. I guess there is no wrong way, but I'd like to have my fold in the back. And then I cut out some chocolate brown strips. For those, they measure 1/4 inch by 6 1/4 inches long. To cut those out, you could just use your paper cutter, but I have GinaK's Master Layouts 8, and it cuts the strips automatically for you, so that's what I'm using. And then I just have a scrap piece of cream that I'm going to stamp a sentiment on. And I'll get started, and I'm going to start by stamping the sentiment first. Set that up there. For the sympathy sentiment, I've chosen this with sympathy. It's from GinaK's All Occasion Flowers, and it has a die cut. And I'm going to put this in my Misty, and I'm using the Waffle Flower Grip Mat inside. And I'm just going to stamp this using VersaFine Clear in the color Nocturne. You could use any color black. This is just one of my favorite blacks. All right, that came out perfect. To clean that, just squirt it with a little bit of water and use an a rag that doesn't leave little parts behind. All right. Now I'm just going to cut this out. And I want to cut out a couple of them just to add some depth. Let's see if I can get this centered just so. I love that these come with the dies. If I can get it to line up and cut out correctly, we shall see. Oh yes, that came out nice. Now I'm going to cut out about 2 more of these. One more, and I think I can get one. Let's see if I can get one up here. I like to use as much as possible of my scraps. Okay, there. I now have several that I can stack together. And I will do that now so it has a time to dry. I hope you all had a nice weekend. It was really hot and humid here. Today it's nicer. Temperature's down in the 70s. And it's kind of overcast. All right, so I'm just going to glue these together. Someone recommended I put a rubber band around this bottle to hold this. So they don't have rubber bands, but I do have, well, my twisty tie is a little too big. I don't know how I'm going to get that back out though, but I'm going to give that a try. It does keep it out of the way. Okay, that is ready to go. I'm going to start by putting my card together. I might as well use this. To get the card basics down, the longest part will be the vintage Hues acetate, and that really isn't that long. Just center that one. Okay, now I'm just going to set this aside with my acrylic block while I make a mess pulling it out, while I work on the vintage Hues acetate. So let's see how, well, might have to figure out something different for that. That works while I'm using it, but not to, I wonder if a piece of Velcro around it would work. Okay, now for this acetate. If you just put it on something itself, it doesn't look that great. If you put it, let's see, if I have a piece of scrap white here, it becomes brighter. If you put it behind cream, it's a little less toned down, but I'm going to put brown behind it, but you shall see. First, I need to cut a piece of this acetate to fit. This is a sticky back, and on this acetate film there's a shiny side and then a matte side, and you want to put this adhesive on the matte side. You can print these yourself if you have a laser printer or even an inkjet printer, anything that you can get acetate to go through. Print your own pictures and then put this film on it. This is just amazing stuff. I suppose you could use just regular double-sided adhesive and put glitter on the back. But this has the glitter already self-contained in the sticky. And it's an opalescent quality. And I'm just going to lay that down. Just like that. And see, that's how it looks on white. And let's see how it looks on the, yeah, I might go with the white, but I think the brown, because it is a somber occasion and I don't want it to be in your face glittery. Now I'm going to glue this frame right down here, but I'm going to be using double-sided adhesive. And I get a piece of scratch paper for that. Let's see, I think I've got one right over here, yeah. Well, I might be using the glue. I'm not a big fan of adhesive tape. No, we're just gonna glue. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to use my double-sided sticky tape. That will work a lot better. If I have my tear tape here. This tan paper is a little thin. Hence the reason the tape was tearing it off, I believe. Now I'm just going to burnish the tape down a little bit with the edge of my scissor handle. And I'm just going to peel up one edge, hopefully. Get this lined up. So far, so good, she says. Well, how did that happen? Must have stretched my paper a little bit. So let's just move this over. Okay. Now, I will trim off all of the extra on the edges. Go. Let's put these in the bin. Now, This, I want to put it on here, and I believe I want to put it on this side. But let's see if it looks better with the white background behind it, or with the chocolate background behind it. I'm going for the white. I thought the chocolate would look nice, but the white. So I'm just going to grab, I'm going to use the white paper that was on the adhesive, on the glitter film, and just cut it to fit behind. And use double-sided tape on the corners. Get my roll back out. And that's the end of that roll. I believe I have another one right here, and I do. Okay. Burnish this down a little bit. Hopefully that'll help make the tape come off easier without removing the tape from the paper. And it, well, almost always does. Now this can go down here, and I want it to pop up a little bit. Let me see, got the white sticking out. So I'm going to use my foam tape on the back. I just use a 1/2 inch foam tape. It's a very low loft, so it won't add a lot of dimension if you're planning on mailing your card. If you're not planning on mailing your card, or you're willing to pay the extra postage, you can use a higher loft, but this one's maybe 1/8 of an inch thick. To find a use for all this adhesive backing. I hate throwing all this stuff away, but I do have to throw something away, I guess. All right, now I want to put that up here in this corner, just like that. Now, I'm going to put 2 strips down this way, or maybe 3. I think I want to do 3 strips this way, 2 strips this way. I'm going to use double-sided adhesive on the back of this. Get one that doesn't have smudge on it. And my double-sided adhesive tape is just a hair narrower than the 1/4 inch strip. So will not, should not show. And I'm only going to do that for the ones going this way. I will put glue on the other 2 strips. Now I'm going to peel this down, but I'm not going to go all the way with the adhesive removal yet. And I'm going to go down to about here with removing the adhesive, because I want to do a little bit of a basket weave down here. Whoops. Well, you're just going to have to hold yourself up in the air, hopefully. I'm going to bend that back a little bit. Now, these strips are not long enough to go all the way across the paper, so they're just going to go to the first strips here. Put one here. This one's going to go under this one, over the middle one, and then under that one. Okay. And this one's going to go over this one, so I can now put that one down flat, under this one, and over this one. Now I'm going to trim these off so that they are even with the edge of the card, hopefully. I think I'll use my X-Acto knife here to get those. There we go. All right, now, with sympathy, I have to figure out where I want to put it. And I'm thinking right here in the middle. I'm just going to glue this down flat. Hold that for just a moment. I'll put the cap back on that tape. Now I've got gold, either sequins, or I have these dome dots. Let's see what a sequin looks like. Yeah, sequins. I'll put one there, simply because that one strip is not all the way across. So let's see, where do I want to put some more ones? I think one in the corner here. One here, one there. and here. Okay. That's 6. It's an even number, but I'm going with an even number. Okay, that's my card for today. Let's see if I have met all the parameters for this Craft Roulette challenge. 1, it had to be a card for a dude. It's a male sympathy card. Colors of the dragon, I have my browns, the orange for the fire, and the black for the charcoal. Element, I had to have a basket. I've done a basket weave. And if you look at this, this brown paper that I use in the frame and the darker brown here, it kind of has a texture that is almost like a basket weave also. And random, a chart. This background has a wonderful faint chart. Thanks for watching. I hope I've inspired you to do something. Get your papers out, get your scraps out, just sit and play, have fun. Maybe you haven't seen this vintage Hues acetate before. I love it. You don't have to use them. You can print some on your own computer and just have fun. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. There, I think you can see the chart on the background a little bit better.